Hey, what's going on YouTube? So I wanted to do my Ohio State Michigan preview for week 13. So go ahead and start with my 3 keys for Ohio State. Sorry if I look and sound bad, just got back from hockey. So first one is you got to score 30 plus points. This also goes hand in hand with winning the possession battle. So last week I believe the possession battle was like 39-21 or something like that in minutes against Michigan State. Michigan State completely dominated possession of the ball. And Ohio State had, I want to say, somewhere in the ballpark of like 180 total yards. Might be less than that. JT Barrett only had like 50 passing yards. Maybe 80. I don't know. It was under 100. He was also their leading rusher with like 45. And obviously that's not going to cut it. Again, Michigan State didn't have much of an offense. Their defense played out of their minds. But Michigan has a lot better offense than Michigan State did without Connor Cook. Alright, so second one is JT Barrett's got to get 3 or more touchdowns. So, you might as well put Cardale Jones back in if JT Barrett's going to play the way he did last week. They just did, too many 3-and-outs, no movement of the ball, no rhythm at all. The third one is get Ezekiel Elliott 100-plus yards. That opens everything up for JT Barrett. That opens up everything for the offense. That lets them get a little bit more time possession. And it's just huge for Ohio State. Ohio State revolves mainly around Ezekiel Elliott. Obviously, JT Barrett helps. And defense playing well, but the defense honestly played really well last week. Like that loss wasn't on the defense. So, all right, moving to the keys for Michigan. First one is get 2+ turnovers. So Ohio State's actually taken pretty good care of the ball this year. The problem has really never been turnovers. Maybe some games. Cardale Jones would throw maybe a pick or 2 a game, but JT Barrett really takes care of the ball pretty well. And Ezekiel Elliott really doesn't have a fumbling problem, so if Michigan can generate a couple turnovers, that's really going to put Ohio State on their heels, and it'll put them in a position they really haven't been in before. And they were in that position last week, and you saw what happened. If Michigan can do that again, then they'll be in a favorable spot. All right, so the second one is hold Ohio State to less than 21 points. So if you get Ohio State down to a last-minute battle or like a close game in the fourth quarter, I'd say. Obviously Ohio State and Michigan have played have played close games this year, but just looking at Michigan, they tended to be the more successful team in close games outside of the Michigan State game. So obviously both these teams have been victimized by Michigan State on like last-second victories, but it's hard to see what the turnout of the game is going to be. So third one is get the monkey off your back. So obviously I think it's been like 9 or 10 years since Michigan's won this game. Might not be that long, but it's been a while. Ohio State's dominated this game for the last decade. Michigan had a couple down years the last 4 or 5 years, but even before that, Ohio State's been the dominant team in this rivalry of late. Michigan dominated in the 90s, and then Ohio State's really dominated it since. So for Michigan, you just really got to get over it. Home field advantage has never really mattered much in this rivalry. The game is at Michigan Stadium, so that might help out a little bit, but I don't really give enough weight to that to have any effect on the outcome. All right, so my prediction is hard. I'm not gonna lie, this is might be the hardest game to predict of the week. I'm gonna go with Ohio State. I predicted Ohio State last week. It didn't turn out well. Michigan might honestly be the favorite for this one. They're looking better heading into the game, I won't lie. They had a nice win against Penn State last week. I believe it was 28-16. Jake Rudolph's actually been playing really well. The offense has been playing well. Defense, not looking as good as they did early in the season, but still not looking terrible. Outside of that last-second loss to Michigan State and then the first game of the season to Utah, they won 28-16 against Penn State anyway. They've been pretty good this year. The offense has been looking all right. They put a little bit too much emphasis on the passing game. You want to give Davion Smith the ball more. Let him do his thing. He's had a pretty good year. Not great, but if you can open up the run lanes for him and basically win the possession battle as much as Michigan State did last week with the amount of weapons you have on that offense, get J.Hugh Cheston the ball. Like I keep on saying, let Jake Rudolph do his thing. Get Davion Smith the ball, and I think Michigan will be just fine. Like I said, it's a hard game to predict. I do take Ohio State in the game. I'd say by maybe 3 to 6 points. Like I said, hard game to predict. Especially since Ohio State pretty much choked last week. But yeah, I think they'll respond well, and yeah, I mean, I think Michigan State's claimed the division now, so I think both these teams are pretty much for good out of the playoff. But yeah, come back probably tomorrow with my Oklahoma State preview. I've done the other two. I'll probably put the link to those in the description below. I will also put the original link to my college football prediction video from the beginning of the week in the description below. I've already done the Notre Dame, Stanford, and then Florida State game. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah.